Okay, so let's get started. So we've all had maybe a few days off if you didn't get a chance to do the recorded sessions. So it's good to kind of come back to it and just to feel how you can kind of grow into the poses. So just hold onto your knees. Lift and open the chest and draw your shoulders down away from your ears. Just spend a few moments just elevating the spine upwards. Drawing your shoulders down so that the front chest lifts and opens. Listen to the sound of the breath. Just look down at the floor. Take some deep inhalations, deep exhalations. So these are all potentially movements that we haven't done when we've been away from yoga. So lifting up, drawing our energy out of the body. Taking deep inhalations from the bottom of the lungs to the top of the lungs. Deep exhalations from the top to the bottom. Release your knees, bring your hands into Namaste. Press the palms firmly together, lengthen from the armpits into the elbows. And then gently allow your eyes to softly close. Listen to the sound of the breath as it enters and as it exits. Fill in the lungs from the bottom to the top. Emptying the lungs from the top to the bottom. Gently draw your chin down to meet your chest. Spend a moment to seek to generate a genuine, heartfelt sense of gratitude for something or someone. Hold on to that feeling of abundance in your heart area, and then release the backs of your hands down toward your knees, palms facing upwards. As you raise your head, open your eyes, hold on to the fronts of your knees, lift and elevate the spine upwards. So just that feeling of just lifting out of the hips up into the chest feels liberating if you've been sat at a desk for a couple of days, or perhaps you just haven't stretched. So just feeling of lift in the chest, and then turn from the 3 layers of the cake stand. So lift and open the chest, and then turn to the right feeling that the abdomen turns first, that the belly button points towards that right knee. Dig the back hand into the floor so that you can roll onto the front edge of the seat bones. As you turn, just gauge the weight of the seat bones, feeling that they're evenly placed. Use your out breath to intensify your turn. And then come back to the center, hold onto your knees. Lift and open the chest, elevating the spine upwards. Take a deep inhalation and then turn again from the abdomen, turn to the left. Just observing how your weight possibly shifts beneath you and correcting that. Using the back hand to keep the hips level rather than rolling back. And using the out breath to turn. And then gently come back to the center. Just come off your lift and then come back onto your heels. Sit back on your feet. Your knees are apart, big toes are together. And then lift the spine upwards and maintain the lift, so that bimetallic strip action. Come forwards, press your palms into the floor, keep the front chest lifted, spread the fingers, spread the palms, wriggle into the hips, and then gently release your head down. So make this an active, rooted extension. So the root of the extension comes from maintaining the connection between the seat bones and the heels. And then lengthening from the hips into the armpits, from the armpits into the elbows, into the wrists, into the palms, but then at the same time as extending from the hips into the hands, extend from the hands into the hips. Just breathe evenly, filling the lungs from the bottom to the top. Come up onto your knees, have your hands as wide apart as the mat, feet as wide apart as the mat. Keep your knees bent initially so that you can tilt the seat bones up towards the ceiling. So bent knees helps you to penetrate into the shoulder blades more deeply. So bend your knees. Lift the seat bones away from the backs of the thighs. Draw the front rim of the pelvis in towards the tops of the legs. Drawing the shoulder blade region in towards the front chest. Lifting the front chest, descending the back chest like a waterfall flowing down the back. So down the back, when we're upside down, is from the shoulders to the hips. And then straighten your legs by tightening the kneecaps, drawing the thigh muscle firmly into the bone, turning the thigh muscle inwards, lifting the seat bones up. So if you had a few days off, then there's going to be some sensations that you're unfamiliar with. So observe them and activate with them. Tadasana, rising the legs, the fronts of the thighs turning inwards, the fronts of the shins turning inwards, so the backs of the thighs, the backs of the calves can broaden outwards, allowing you more space to lift up into the seat bones. Step your feet forwards, just come up into a standing position. Get your 2 blocks. For your hands, bring your feet as wide apart as the mat. Lift and open the chest, drive your spine upwards. And then hinge at the hips. And then reach down and find the blocks. So if you've been away for a little while, again, maybe the backs of the legs feel different. Maybe the fronts of the legs feel different. It's often easier to activate the fronts of the legs first. So lift the slab of the thigh muscle up towards the hip. Lift the kneecap up towards the thigh. Lift the shin bone out of the ankle socket. Do the same on both legs. Turn the fronts of the thighs inwards so that the backs of the thighs can broaden outwards. Push the fronts of the legs through to the backs of the legs. Lift the seat bones, project the front chest forwards. Breathing evenly and deeply. If you can go down a little lower, then do. But observe that each time you go down a little lower, there are fresh challenges. So lift the fronts of the legs, push the fronts of the legs, especially the thighs, through to the fronts, through to the backs of the thighs. Projecting the chin and the chest forwards, but connecting the extension of the chest to the lifting of the seat bones. If you can go down a little lower, then do, but incrementally. So if you can reach the floor, then reach the floor. If you need to stay with the blocks, then stay with the blocks. Pressing the fronts of the thighs through to the backs of the thighs. Feeling the backs of the thighs broaden from the inner leg to the outer leg. Lifting the seat bones, projecting the chin and the chest forward. So straightening those legs, maintaining the tightening action of the kneecaps, pushing the fronts of the knees through to the backs of the knees. And then walk your hands towards the front end of your mat, have your hands shoulder width apart, and then step back into dog down. So just feel, so feet hip width apart, hands shoulder width apart, just feel your way into the pose. Does it feel different to the dog down you did a couple of minutes ago? Not just because your hands are narrower, your feet are narrower, but in the muscles, in the bones. Just explore the feelings of the pose, the physical feeling of the pose. Maintaining the depth of the breath. Breathing from the bottom of the lungs to the top and vice versa with the out breath. With an out breath, hinge at the hips, come into dog up. Don't be in a rush, just take your time. Push into the heels, keep your legs away from the floor, extend up into the chest, broaden the diaphragm, broaden the collarbone. And then come back up into dog down. Observe your energy. Take a deep inhalation and then on the exhalation come back into dog up. Again, broadening the diaphragm, the collarbone, pushing into the heels. Maintain your breath. And then on an out breath, come back up into dog down. Observe your breath. Observe the way that you're connecting to the floor. So for the heels of the hands, for example, are they really heavy on the floor and the palms are light? The fingers are light. Distribute your weight through the palm, not just into the heel of the hand. And then step your feet forwards, just come up into a standing position and then come into Tadasana. So just observe feeling within the body. So can you notice any difference between now and when we were in swastikasana at the beginning? Is there more energy in the arms, in the chest, in the legs? Where does it proliferate the most? Use your out breath and your in breath to distribute that feeling of energy evenly. So it's not just around the chest or not around the arms, it's evenly distributed. Extend your arms forwards, draw your consciousness into each individual finger. And then interlock your fingers, turn the palms all the way out. Squeeze the outer elbows in. And then raise your arms. Dangly asana. Go back to the feet. Breathe evenly from the bottom of the lungs to the top. And from the top to the bottom. Observe how the feet make contact with the floor and lift the legs out of the feet. Lift the chest out of the legs. And then release your arms. Before you swap the interlock, just feel how your arms are filled with lightness and energy. Then swap the interlock of the fingers, so you do the interlock with the opposite index finger on the top of the stack, and then turn the palms all the way out. Raise your arms up. Breathing evenly and deeply. Lifting your energy out of your feet, up into the legs, up into the chest, up into the arms. And then release. Just come into Tadasana. Again, just observe how your energy flows through the arms, through the chest, through the legs. Use your in-breath and your out-breath to distribute that feeling evenly throughout the body. Not forgetting the head. Spread the toes of the left foot and then bring the right leg up into the top of the thigh. Use something to help you to balance if you need it. Maintain that standing leg firmly. In Tadasana, press the little toe into the floor. Suck the outer thigh in towards the inner thigh. Squeeze the lifted foot up into the inner thigh, press it through to the outer thigh. Lengthen from the inner groin into the inner knee. Squeeze in that bent leg buttock bone forward. Lifting up into the chest, spreading the palms. And then raise your arms up. So ideally, I'm a bit of a weird angle. Ideally, you have the hands in vrksasana. I went out of ceiling height, so I have to bring my hands together, but arms shoulder width apart, palms facing each other ideally. Breathe evenly and deeply, listening to the sound of the breath. So my pose is slightly distorted because I've got a fisheye lens on this webcam, but it should be a straight line. Just breathe evenly, maintaining the Tadasana of the standing leg. Just observe the breath. Observe the feeling of upness, lifting out of the feet, up into the legs, into the hips, into the chest, into the arms. The direction of vrksasana is up, like the growth of a tree. Just release your arms, release the leg. Bring the legs into Tadasana. Just observe the energy you have created Observe the difference in the two legs. Really activate that right leg, spread your right toes, lift your shorts if you can. And the standing leg. And then bring the left foot up into the top of the thigh. As high up into the perineum as you can. Activate the standing leg. The little toe of that standing leg so you can suck the outer thigh in. Lengthening from the inner groin of the bent knee. Inner groin into the inner knee. Squeezing the front leg buttock bone forwards and then raising your arms. Just observe your breath. Lifting out of the floor, up into the chest, into the arms. Lifting the legs out of the floor. And then release your arms, release your leg. And then come back into Tadasana. Oh, sorry, that was the wrong button. Be in Tadasana, lift and open the chest. Bring your arms out nice and wide in towards the chest and then step or jump the feet apart for trikonasana. So nice and wide so your feet are as wide apart as your hands. Turn your left toes in, your right leg and foot all the way out. Spread the base of the foot. Spread the toes from the big toe to the little toe. Activating the outer thighs. Keeping that back leg really firm. Come down and find your trikonasana. Activating the little toes so that you suck the outer thighs in. Squeeze the front leg buttock bone forwards. Turn the abdomen from the cake stand all the way up to the ceiling. Activating the legs so that you can extend into the spine. Soften the jaw, soften the tongue, soften the throat, soften the breath. Reach up with the top hand, come back to the center. Swap the feet around, turn the right toes in. Left leg and foot all the way out. Activate from the feet and the little toes into the outer thighs. Come down, find the shin. Working from the little toes to the outer thighs, maintaining the strength of that back leg. Turning the chest up to face the ceiling. Turning the abdomen up to face the ceiling. The more you activate the legs, the more you can extend into the spine. Bring the top hand down on the inside of the foot. Bring the other hand onto the little toe side of the foot. Turn the back leg and then step back into dog down. Observe your dog down from the hands and the feet all the way up into the hips. The hips are the apex of the triangle. And then come down onto your knees, sit back on your heels, big toes together, knees apart. And then come forward into Adho Mukha Virasana. And then bring your arms underneath your shoulders, push yourself up into a seated position. So just sit directly on your mat, have your belt where you can reach it. Just stretch your hips. So just get the hands underneath the buttock skin and then draw the buttocks out to the side so that you're sitting firmly on your seat bones. If you feel that you kind of sink in the abdomen, this kind of draws back, then sit yourself on a folded blanket, have a belt block where you can reach it and have a belt. So just feel that you can lift the spine out of the legs. Breathing evenly, push into both feet evenly. So often it's just the little toe side of the foot that extends further away than the big toe side. So see if you can extend into the inner groin, from the inner groin into the inner heels. Bring the left leg, try not to disturb your seat bones, bring the left leg out to the side in vrksasana shape. And then if this knee is high up in the air, then just bring a block underneath the head of the knee. If your calf is on the floor just supporting that thigh, then that should be okay. Just feel maybe how the hips have shifted a little. So usually this bent leg hip wants to kind of draw back further. So have your hands either side and then squeeze that bent leg buttock bone, squeeze it forwards. So you try and make the hips more even. So just like in vrksasana, squeeze the bent leg buttock bone forwards, extend deeply into this front leg. Turn the chest to face the straight leg. And then grab your belt and then push the foot into the belt. Pull the belt towards you. And then lift up into the chest, driving the spine upwards. Squeezing that bent leg buttock bone towards the bent leg foot. Lifting and opening the chest, drawing the chest to face the straight leg. Push from the hip into the heel of that straight leg, stretching into the inner heel. So if you've got a bad back, you might want to just stay at this stage. If you don't, then you might want to come forwards a little, but always coming forwards by lifting the front chest, descending the back chest. So incrementally inching the hand towards the foot, but all the time, not letting the back bulge outwards like a tortoise shell, lifting the front chest. Pressing the bent knee into the floor. If you can come forwards a little more, then reach around the foot. Maintain the action of that straight leg, pushing from the hip and into the heel. Squeezing the bent leg buttock bone forwards, pressing the bent knee into the floor to give you stability. Keeping the front chest lifted. Bend your elbows out to the sides if you can reach your foot. And then start to come down. Janu sirsasana. So the more you work that straight leg, the more you maintain the levelness of the hips, the more you can come forward. So it's a stretch of the leg as much as a stretch of the spine. In fact, it's more of a stretch of the leg than a stretch of the spine. And then come back to the center. Observe that as you come out of a forward bend, there's a quietness that comes over the body and the brain, and also a feeling of energy that releases. Just stretch your legs out again, come back into dandasana. This time bring the right leg out to the side without disturbing the hips, without disturbing the seat bones. Again, support that knee if it's up in the air. Bring the hands to the sides of the hip, and then lift and open the chest. And then turn the abdomen, turn the ribs, turn the shoulders, so they're facing that straight leg. So you can either go for the belt, or if you know you can reach your feet, then raise up in vrksasana. But at vrksasana level, just go back to the seat bones. So the seat bones feel level. Can you press the knee into the floor so it helps you to turn the spine? Maintaining the lift of the front chest, come forwards and reach the foot. When you get hold of the foot, try not to put your thumbs on the top of the foot and your fingers around the back, bottom of the foot. Take the thumbs and the fingers around the back of the foot. Keep activating that straight leg. Keep turning the abdomen so that you're really stretching along that straight leg. Breathing evenly. Keeping that straight leg really active, bending your elbows out to the side, reaching around the foot if you can. Just keeping the front chest lifted, trying to stop the back chest from bulging outwards. Breathing evenly and deeply, trying to lengthen both sides of the trunk evenly. Tadasanalizing that straight leg. And then come back to the center. Stretch your legs out in front and then lift. And open the chest. And then bring your legs into swastikasana. Hold onto your knees, lift and open the chest, driving your spine upwards. Just draw your chin forwards, make the chin make contact with the chest. Lift the chest up to meet the chin. Just breathe evenly and deeply. Incorporate mula bandha by lifting the anal sphincter up towards the navel and the diaphragm region. Just breathe evenly and deeply, allowing the lungs to overflow into the arms, into the torso and into the legs. So we're charging up the body with the energy of the breath. So in yoga there are the kosas of being, the physical body, the breath body, the energetic body, the pranamaya kosa. And the breath body, the energetic body helps the mental body to come into alignment. And when the mental body comes into alignment with the energetic body and the physical body, then the intellectual body becomes activated. The intellectual body is the overseer, the learner, the teacher, the reminder. And when the physical body and the energetic body, the mental body and the intellectual body are in alignment, then we glimpse into the Annamaya Kosa, the blissful body. Okay, release Mula Bandha, release Jalandhara Bandha, just raise your head, lift up into the chest, drive the spine upwards, take a good strong deep inhalation, and then turn to the right side. Drawing the abdomen across, the ribs across, the shoulders across. Come back to the center. Just hold on to your knees, lift and open the chest, drive the spine upwards. Take a good, strong, deep inhalation. And then turn to the left. And then come back to the center. Just stretch out your legs and then come down onto the floor with a block. We're going to setubandha. If you're not doing setubandha, you can do supta baddha on your back with your feet together, the knees apart. Otherwise, walk your feet towards your seat bones, press the feet into the floor, lift the seat bones up until the shoulders get stuck, and then roll the shoulder blades towards each other so you come right up onto the tops of your shoulders. Then place the brick in the tailbone sacrum area. Hold on to the sides of the mat, come right up onto the tops of the shoulders. And then either stay with bent knees or you can stretch one leg out, see how that feels, especially if you haven't done this for a little while. Stretch the other leg out. If that feels okay in your back, then you can stretch both legs away. If it's not good for your back, to stay with bent knees. Tadasana your legs if you're stretching them out. Work to come right onto the tops of the shoulders, gathering the shoulder blades together. Just breathe evenly, deeply feel the stretch of the abdomen. Feel the stretch of the abdomen as you inhale. Just breathe into that somatic region, the abdomen. Okay, and then bend your knees. Just walk the feet back towards the block. Just lift the seat bones, even if you have to lift your heels off the floor, just be on tiptoes to lift the seat bones up. Move the block, adjust your shoulders, and then just guide yourself back down into the floor. Pull your knees in towards your chest and just have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom. Just the gentlest of massages on the spine. And then when you're ready, just release your knees, come up onto a seated position. Just get your blanket rather. Make sure that it's well folded, evenly folded to give you evenness underneath your head. So you just got that for your head. Just move your equipment out of the way so that you can stretch out without feeling constrained. a really good straight line. Support the back of your head, the back of the neck. The feet fall apart. Close your eyes. Let the body release into the floor. Unhook the muscles of the arms and of the legs. So just observe the feeling of the physical body as you release into the floor. As you let go of the physical body, just observe the energetic body rising to the top of the skin. Your energy rising up to the top of the skin. Feeling of lightness rising up from the legs or from the torso or from the arms or from the head. Spend a little time using the in-breath and the out-breath to distribute that feeling of blissful lightness evenly throughout your body. Down to the tips of the toes, to the tips of the fingers, to the top of the head. When you're ready, just gently wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers, bringing yourself back into this pose of Shavasana. And then bend your knees, draw your knees in towards your chest. Just have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom, just giving yourself a gentle massage on the spine, a grounding massage. And then gently roll over onto your right side. Just stay down for a breath or two. And then straighten out the top leg. Come up into a seated position. Just a final cross legs with your hands in the masti. Just a final spinal lift. Draw your breath in through your nose and down into the abdomen. Be conscious of the energy that you have released through your practice, that good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy that the extensions, the forward bends, the twists, the inversions bring to the body and to the mind. And then draw your chin down to meet your chest. Spend a moment to seek to acknowledge the positive energy you've created inside. And then send some of that positive energy out into the world. And then release the backs of your hands down toward your knees, palms facing upwards. And as you raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. Thank you. So hopefully you feel as though you have just reignited your energy a little and give yourself lots of good positive energy to put into your day. So thank you very much for joining me.